Okay, this is my okra. I picked a bunch last night, so I'm just checking, make sure I didn't miss anything because they get tough. Um, this is going to be my Survival 101 number 3. And I've already made one which was having to do with water, and two which had to do with food and bartering and storage and stuff like that. I think this is pretty good. I got one little. I'm going to have to watch it close. They grow fast. But yeah, no squash. Well, I got a squash coming on. It was just teeny tiny yesterday, but it's getting up there. Not quite ready to pick yet, though. Okay, and this I got two big tomatoes, really big tomatoes off from, and then nothing else. It's just, I get the leaves are huge. I mean, it's just, look at this leaf. These leaves are gigantic, but it's really been hot, and it's just not, this is more in the open direct sun than most of my tomato plants. I do have some little blossoms, but they just kind of die. There's a yellow one down here. Maybe it'll take. Come on, little blossom, give me another tomato. Well, it's parked it right in front of my garden. What do you think of that big old thing? That's 29 feet from the back to the end of the tongue out front. Here's the tongue here. But yeah, I've been saving for years. I've been wanting to get one. You may say, now, Miss Gail, why are you doing that? Because there's a lot of fires here, and if we have to get out, at least I will have something to live in if the place burns down, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, preparedness. If I need to, I will have to live in this thing. I don't know. I've been looking for a long time. This one's going to take a little bit of work to finish fixing up, but I'm getting there. It may take me another year to get it all done, but I'm getting there. I showed a little bit on another video if I get that one uploaded. Okay, this is the couch here. And then I'm working on cleaning out the shelves and starting to put a few things in the shelves, and I'm going to have to get some shelf liners, and I've got another little refrigerator because that one doesn't work anymore. But let me tell you, we're talking about survival. And if I have to live in here, there's a problem with trailers, well, with houses a lot of times too. And that is that mice or rats or bugs can get into it. But these are sealed. And I think what I'm going to do, let me show you my extra. She'd taken the bed out of here, and I think I'm going to keep the bed out. I've thought about getting a little bed. I don't know. Things are laying around because it's still being worked on. But I'm thinking about putting that refrigerator in here for storage of things that I just don't want mice to get into, because it will seal it where they can't get in. And yeah, you have to think about things like this. You got to survive. You got to have a survival mode. I just love this closet. It's a nice, goes way back there. It's a nice closet. Anyway, I just sit down here on my couch. I can't stay in here too much longer. It's just getting really hot in here. I spent a couple hours this morning while it was still cool working and pulling stuff out of shelves and cleaning and this and that, and I had bought a few articles I want to put in here. I'm going to slowly start packing it with things that can take the heat. Really don't want to put canned goods or anything that might pop the seals because it gets really hot in here. Unless I were to hook up the AC, which I really should do to make sure it works. But I just want to talk a little bit about shelter. Now, I have a place that I'm living, although I'm renting it. So, and there was some other plans and something else was going to happen, and there was a big, some things that happened. And those plans have been kind of ruined for the moment. There's some others maybe forming in the background. I don't know. At one point I thought I would have a place to put this trailer and I might be living in it, but I don't have that now. So there's just a lot of things I can't say, but this is really good to have, and I've thought about it with the fires and stuff. We were on evacuation mode last summer, but not evacuation warning. We didn't have to evacuate, just to be ready to go. Those very close to us had to evacuate, and the fire came down pretty close to our town. So, but things are so bad here, you just don't know what's going to happen. I know where my mom used to live before she passed away, there's a big fire up there, and it burnt right into her property and burnt some of the new trees they had put in and stuff. So it still left the house. She's not there anymore, but that's how close it can get really quick. Things happen, and this is a really nice thing to have for shelter if I can find a big truck to pull it. Had to borrow one to get it over here, so I think I know where we could get a big truck real fast if we needed, though. And so anyway, shelter is very, very important to have in mind, and this is kind of a good backup thing to have. Now, you might even, if you can't get something like this, at least have a tent available and in the back of your car. Have it put there ready to go, or somewhere you can grab it quick if something were to happen. Hurricane or unexpected weather or fires or earthquakes. You just don't know. There's stuff happening everywhere. The most important thing of all, whether it's the water that I discussed and different things about that and a few other things on the first of this series, or about food and bartering and storage and stuff on the second one. This is going to be number 3 on shelter. And there's a lot of things you can say about shelter. We don't know what we're going to have, but it's good to have some sort of a camper or something, or at least a tent for emergencies. Have a backup from the place that you were living. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm really thankful, but it's been years. I've been saving for several years for this. And it helped with all those stipends that the government gave us. I put all of that back with my savings to get this. And it's not a brand new trailer. I had to buy new tires for it. But it's in pretty good condition. So from what I can tell, I mean, there are some things that need some work on it. But I'm working at it slowly but surely, and if I have to, if a fire comes, I'll have to borrow a truck. But that's why I'm trying to get it stored up. I got some pots and pans, and I'm cleaning, and I want everything fairly new and ready to go. So if something happens, all I have to do is throw in my clothes and my chihuahuas and, just whatever. It just depends. And if Kyle's going to go, or the girls are going to go, or my son's going to go, or, if somebody needs to go with me or whatever. But it's my home, and it will be my home anyway in a case like that. If you have even a tent, that would help. It's not really good to be out in the elements without any shelter at all. And we don't know what's going to happen. We need to be prepared. Okay, so there's things you can watch videos on how to build a shelter with sticks and leaves and all of that. But when you're really stressed, unless you really know what you're doing, you're not going to be able to think real clear. But maybe clear enough if you at least have a trailer you can live in to keep you sheltered from somewhat of wind and rain and cold or sun. I would have to park this in the shade and find some electricity. I would like to get some solar power, but it probably won't run the AC. It might run some fans if I got some fans and opened up all the windows and parked it in shade. You think about survival. Be thinking with survival. Use this brain. I keep saying think outside the box because we've been trained just to think a certain way and just go that way. And sometimes it's really hard to think outside the box because we've been trained so specifically and still are through media and everything. Speaking of which, have you ever noticed that Wikipedia changes? They scrub stuff off and they twist things a little round from what they had before, or change it totally to go with the narrative. So you can't always be real dependent upon that. Good hardback books is a good thing to have and to take with your shelter. Pick just a few that's very helpful and take them with you. Maybe 1 or 2 reading books so you don't get bored to death. But some maybe handbooks on how to do certain things. I think I gave away my one survival book that I had, kind of a survival book. I was cleaning out stuff, but I do want to keep a few books in here, so I've still got to locate which I want to put in here. But that's something good to have in case you don't have the internet, and you can't always trust the internet. You can't always trust what it says, and you can't always, it's not reliable to always be able to obtain it. And if there were an EMP or something, or whatever you call it, you wouldn't have it at all. Hardback books, but especially a Bible. Okay, I'm trying to, there he is. Let me see if I can find him. Probably has to do with the fires. It's just crazy. I know we have one up the hills just above us a ways. You know, I have a go bag in my trunk of my car, but hopefully we don't have to go, whether it's in a trailer or with a tent or car or whatever. Hopefully we don't have to go. We've got most of our, our food storage and all that kind of stuff and everything prepared in our home. We don't want to go, and hopefully we don't. It's just that we need to be prepared in case we do have to go. Have backup plans. Hopefully you can stay where you're at, but shelter, you need shelter. And if something happens to your main shelter, have some ideas in your mind, backup plans of what you can do. I think I'm going to keep my go bag in my car in case I'm out in my car and can't make it back home. That's another thing to think about. But I am going to be packing up the trailer with things that I will need. I'll have to, I won't be able to take everything with me, but I'll do what I can do to make myself as comfortable and use as little as I can, but the most really important things that I will need to have. That's the kind that I'm trying to give you ideas what I'm doing that might give you ideas. Your ideas you might have to tweak a little bit to fit your circumstances. But hopefully I'm giving you some ideas to start thinking on to help you think outside the box and how to be prepared. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've got some ideas. We've went over water, we went over food and bartering and storage, and now over shelter. So, and then dealing in the shelter with this heat and stuff, think about that. Like, I've got to get some fans for that trailer in case the AC doesn't work, or in case I'm somewhere I don't have electricity, or, things like that. Things that will keep you comfortable. Even if we don't have electricity, there's things we can do to try to keep ourselves somewhat comfortable and have a comfortable shelter and a way to live and survive. Make it comfortable enough so that we can think on other areas like how to gather and obtain more food and water. And my other videos went over some of that. So, Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I hope it's been helpful. I hope you learned something. I hope it gave you some ideas. Let me know. Please share. Give me a thumbs up. Share on your social media. Maybe somebody else this might help them. So, yeah, I just want to leave you with that and maybe a few shots from the garden. Bye now.